This is the Inquisitive Minds Podcast.
Hey, thank you guys for tuning in to the Inquisitive Minds Podcast. I'm your host, Johnny Smith. With me today, we have a very special guest. I'm very excited. He is the director of the Fayette County, Pennsylvania Bigfoot Research Project. He is the state director for West Virginia for MUFON, that's the Mutual UFO Network. He is the director for Fayette County, PA Cryptids, Ghosts, UFOs, and Strange Encounters. He is also the director for UFO Bigfoot Connection, and the director for Pennsylvania Cryptids and Strange Encounters, and he's also the assistant state director for Pennsylvania for MUFON. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Fred Saluga. How are you doing today, Fred?
Good. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing phenomenal. So, we got you on here today to talk a little bit about UFOs and MUFON. I always like to ask, though, what got you started into it?
Long story, but make it short. When I was a cop down in Fayette County, it was snowing one night pretty bad, and me and my partner was out riding around. We both had dates at 11:30.
Okay.
And it must have been around 15 after 10. We got a burglary in progress. Well, we both start complaining. So we get to the house, and you could see nobody has been there because there was snow on the ground.
Okay.
Knocked on the door, an old Italian lady opened the door up, and I knew her from the Sons of Italy down there. She wasn't playing with a full deck. And she said, "The son of a bitch, stay up the stairs."
Oh.
So we ran upstairs where she said, and there was nothing there. So I'm looking at my partner, and I said, "She's whacked. Okay,
Yeah.
We'll go down, we'll do the report, and get the hell out of here." And we're standing down there talking to her, and we heard noise upstairs like somebody was actually dancing up there. So we took our guns out, you know, typical police. I mean, I don't know what the hell they'd have done with ghosts, but we had it, you know. We went up. Nothing there. It's come down and asked her. We said, "What's going on?" She said, "They got them with ghosts. Get them out of my house now."
Oh.
And I said, "Ma'am, we never was taught that in the police academy, how to do that."
Yeah.
So anyhow, I did a report on it. All right. So about, I'd say maybe 3 weeks later, 10:30, I get a call from another department. They said, "What are you doing?" I says, "I'm getting ready to get off." "Why don't you come up here? We got a Bigfoot report." It was a big joke.
Oh, so they were like making fun of you.
Yeah.
Oh.
And that's how it started. That was back in 77.
Wow, that's
And
over 40 years of experience.
And then I find out about 5 years ago that I was actually abducted when I was 4.
You know what? I'm not going to gloss over that. Can you want to speak a little more about that?
I have no idea nothing about it.
Oh, okay.
I was told by a lady that I was abducted. The police was up at my house. The military was up there. And that I was gone for 4 hours, and they found me in bed.
Huh.
And she said that when it happened, my relatives told her if she ever said anything, they'd whip her butt.
It makes sense.
Yeah. But I got about 4 or 5 people want to take me back, but I don't remember nothing. And then here last year one day, I was watching TV.
Okay.
And I seen a little alien with a hood on. And something snapped in my head, and I remember seeing that thing in the bedroom.
Okay,
That
like
probably
your
was what
memory
put me- yeah,
bounced.
yeah,
Okay.
So. But I don't know anything other than that.
So, you being a state director for MUFON, the Mutual UFO Network, that is the agency that investigates claims of UFO sightings and what have you. Now, a lot of people have a snap judgment when they hear UFOs. They automatically think, "Ooh, that person's not all there," or what have you. I'm here to legitimize as many people as I can, because one of these things, it's like, yeah, maybe if one person claimed they saw it, or if 2 people claim they see it, but for 70 years, thousands, tens of thousands of people claiming they saw something, it has to be real. And I like the fact that MUFON, you take a scientific approach
Right.
when you investigate.
Right.
I have some forms here. I believe this is this the report form?
That's for entities.
Okay, this is for reporting entities?
Yeah, when we get an entity report, we use that one there.
Now, can you tell me a little more about some entities you've come across, or you've spoke to people that have experienced it?
Okay, to be very honest, about 5 years ago, me and a guy named Blue Tracker, he's a Bigfoot researcher down in Ohio, we was down at Salt Fork, and we was doing some research down there that day. His family was down there staying at one of the cottages down there.
Okay.
So it was in November, and I was getting ready to go home. I went down there. They had dinner. I ate, and I'm getting ready to go home. And they said there was going to be a snowstorm. So I said, why don't you just stay tonight, sleep on the couch? So I said, okay. So I'm sitting there on the couch, and I happen to look because there's a sliding glass door to the lake. And I look over there, and I see, what the hell? I actually seen a gray.
Oh, really?
A real gray.
In person. Okay. Now, for people that are unfamiliar, a gray is the stereotypical alien that we see in a lot of media.
Right.
You know, with a bigger head, little body.
Got the eyes,
big eyes.
Almond eyes and that. And I'm looking at him like, you know, I don't want nobody to see me looking at him, you know, because they're going to think I'm crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm looking like this, and finally Dave says to me, he says, what the hell are you looking at? I said, nothing. He said, Jesus Christ, that's a gray. And he started over towards it. Well, it vanished.
Huh. That's
so I
fascinating.
said, there you go, man. So he backed up, and the damn thing came back again. It was standing there again. So I seen it, he seen it, his wife seen it, his son seen it, and his niece seen it. We all seen it.
And would you say, through your experience, would you say he was teleporting, the gray, like when the guy got closer, or was that just a holograph? Or?
No, I think it was teleporting. I think they can go where they want to go and do what they want to do. They're interdimensional.
The fact that sane and logical people claim to see aliens is what makes me think, like, what do people want, attention? You know, sometimes you see something.
No, I think that if you really look at, okay, I believe this. I believe aliens, cryptids, and ghosts. You got to bring ghosts into this, too.
Yes.
They're all from the same tree but a different branch.
I agree with that.
Okay? And I think that some people can see more than other people. We've had a lot of cases where people, it's the same with Bigfoot, people were standing there and they didn't see it and somebody else seen it. And I don't know if you've ever heard of Paul Johnson.
I have not.
Paul wrote a book on, it's not the interdimensional, it's the, what's similar to that?
Okay.
Quantum
okay.
Bigfoot. Okay. Actually, we're good friends with him, me and Brian Seach. I mean, that's Brian's mentor right there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's who taught Brian a lot. And he says that once you see it, it's like you have a knack to see it then. Mm-hmm. People can see it and some people can't. A lot of people are afraid to say they've seen anything. But like you say, it's you know, they ridicule you.
You know what? Since I've started this podcast, I talk to a lot of people one-on-one, and almost everybody has a story. Hey, I've either seen a ghost or Bigfoot or a UFO or what have you, but I've never told that to anyone. Right. You know, so people want to know about it. Right. It's just their fear of the ridicule.
When I first moved to West Virginia, I was a DUI instructor for quite some time, and I do drink beer. But
for shame.
I go to the VFW or to the American Legion, and nobody would talk to me because they all said I was crazy. You know, I mean, I was the nut. You know, and then I taught a class. I also teach classes in UFOs and cryptozoology and conspiracy theories.
And where do you teach that up at?
I taught in 7 colleges right now.
Oh.
Daytona Beach Community, South Steubenville, 2 colleges down there, Beaver County. I'm teaching a class out at Greensburg, Westmoreland County Community College this fall. And where I was in 2 more. Beaver County, I don't know. There's 2
That's
more.
impressive. You know what, Fred? You're a wealth of knowledge. And like,
but let me finish what I'm saying.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
So anyhow, so they're all saying I'm crazy, right? So they did a big newspaper article on me. They had the whole page.
Just making
about
fun.
Me. No, not making fun of me. They were saying about what I had, what I'd done, and all that.
Okay.
So I walked back into the VFW that night, and the newspaper article was on a wall, and everybody was buying me beer.
Oh, there you go.
Oh my God, you know, you're somebody. Yeah, really. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. So.
Like I said, I told you this off the air. Everyone I've spoken to has mentioned your name in the cryptid Bigfoot paranormal community. So again, this man is a living legend right here. And I know I really wanted to focus on UFOs here, but you're involved in so much. And I find cryptids absolutely fascinating. I had Brian on here to speak about Bigfoot a little bit. What can you tell me about Bigfoot? You mentioned you think he's an interdimensional traveler, which is what I subscribe to.
I would say you have different Bigfoot. I think some of them are interdimensional. Some of them may be regular. I mean,
okay.
But again, you got Bigfoot, you got 3-toed, 4-toed, 5-toed, and 6-toed.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I mean, so, you know, when you talk to the people that believe Bigfoot is flesh and blood, you can't talk to them. You can't talk to them. I mean, they're in their own little world. You know, you say, well, the Bigfoot got 3 toes. Well, how the hell that? Well, because Bigfoot had sex with the mother. I mean, you know, well, the animals have sex like that. I mean, that don't mean they got 3 toes.
Yeah,
I mean, you know.
yeah.
But Bigfoot can you say, for example, you're on a football field. You got the 10-yard line and the 10-yard line or snow. Bigfoot comes here, 10-yard line. He starts walking this way. He gets to this 10-yard line and he's gone. Where the hell did he go? Did something drop him and pick him up? You can't kill him.
Yeah.
I mean, they say, again, the flesh and blood people. Well, yeah, they killed one. Well, where's the body?
Yeah. Where's the body?
Well, they come and got it. Who come and got it?
Mm-hmm.
You know, the government. So you're telling me now that the government picks up dead bodies of Bigfoot? You know,
at this point, you never know. I mean, I never knew there was a rift between, like, a difference between the flesh and blood people.
Oh yeah.
Now, when I spoke about Bigfoot, I mentioned it's funny that you mentioned almost like different species because of the different names. Bigfoot around the world, right. Yeti, Wendigo.
Well, Bigfoot is the only animal on all the continents.
Okay, Antarctica as well.
Yeah.
That's some rough tundra up there. Huh. So you do a lot of do you do Bigfoot investigations as well?
Yeah.
And I noticed it said the Bigfoot UFO connection. Would you like to speak about that?
Well, we've had numerous cases of Bigfoots and UFOs together. Stan Gordon. Okay, you've heard that name.
Yes.
I'm sure. Back in '73, there was a big flap here of Bigfoot and UFOs. 2 specific cases in Pennsylvania was the one where in Fayette County where the 2 guys was riding in a truck and he was going to see his dad on a farm. This was down around Perryopolis, from what I understand. And they seen this big red thing coming down. And they went down into the pasture to see what it was. It was a UFO sitting there.
Oh.
And they looked to the side and they seen 2 Bigfoot walking up the fence railing. So he fired 2 tracers at it, and then he fired a gun at it, his rifle at it. And the thing they shot it and just turned around and walked away. And the UFO vanished.
See, go ahead.
And okay, the second one is Prescal up in Erie.
Okay.
That's where they was having a picnic and a UFO landed and a Bigfoot come and scratched the car. And the next day, Project Blue Book, you've heard of that.
Yes,
that was the biggest joke God ever put on this earth. I mean, I think that's why police today no longer want to investigate it because of Blue Book, because they made idiots out of them. But Presque Isle, the next day they brought somebody from Blue Book up there and the PA State Police, and PA State Police took cast. And what happened, they said it was a bear. Mm-hmm. And there was never a bear up there. And everybody says there was never a bear up there. And the way they described it was a Bigfoot.
And I imagine the tracks were distinctively not bear tracks.
Yeah. And then Marie went on a case with me one time. And the guy, this is another good one here. Him and his wife, he was in the military.
Okay.
And him and his wife was driving out from California to PA. And they're driving and driving and driving. And all of a sudden they see a white ball behind them.
Okay.
And she got scared and told him to go ahead.
Now, about what size?
Big one.
Okay.
You know, like a big sphere. It was like it was following a car.
Okay.
And they got about 20 miles down the road and it was in the middle of the road.
Huh.
And I asked her, I said, what happened then? She don't remember. And she started crying.
Could that have been a pod?
No, I think it was a UFO.
A UFO?
Yeah, I think I think they got picked up that night.
Okay.
But he was sitting home one day and he says he's seen a UFO being dropped out of a ship. So, I mean, people, again, they don't want to talk about it, but it's there.
Yeah, it's definitely there. It's right behind everything. I have a piece of paper here. I'm sorry, guys. I got a lot of information here about orbs.
Right.
You said orbs were like more prevalent now.
I got a case right now where a lady, she has a lot of orbs running around her house, and she wants to know what they are, and I really can't tell you. I have no idea what they are.
I love doing this type of show because I have interest in it, but I've also had a bevy of experiences myself that I don't openly talk about, but I do for the show. I've had quite a few experiences with orbs, and I've had, obviously I don't have it now, but I've had photographic evidence of orbs being around me or in my presence. It's a fascinating thing because I don't know what it is.
Well, we recently, Sam Calosimo, he's a state section director for MUFON here in Pittsburgh. He gets all the cases in Pittsburgh. And he called me up 3 weeks ago, and he said, "You ain't going to believe this shit." I said, "What?" He said, "You got to come down to he owns his own business. He said, "You got to come down to it." I said, "Well, for what, Sam?" He said, "Well, all my alarms went off the other night. And the police went there and checked the doors and everything was locked. We went in the next morning and put the recorders on. The room was filled with orbs."
Huh.
So I seen the pictures, and the orbs are going like real slow, like yes, and they shoot up. And they set all the alarms off. And I just got a case. I got another case where down in West Virginia where a guy was down in a holler, as they call it down there, holler. And he said that he looked behind him. There was 5 orbs behind him. And he said for some reason he got scared. He got scared when he seen they was following him. So he took his gun out. Because everybody in West Virginia carries a gun.
You shoot an orb.
I mean, that's, you know, you're going to shoot it. I mean, what
shoot the orb.
Shoot the orb, bang, bang. But when he got the gun out, he says he got head problems. He got a pain in his head like you wouldn't believe.
Okay.
As long as he had the gun out. As soon as he put the gun away, the pain went away and the orbs went away.
So it's like they psychically sensed his wanting to hurt them, and they, that's interesting. You know what, guys? There is reporting for orbs, too. If you ever want to report something, don't hesitate to reach out. All this stuff is actually taken very seriously, and you're not going to be treated in a negative manner for having an experience. My aunt had a house that was had some paranormal activity, was possessed or what have you, and like things were thrown about, like the house was trashed.
Holy guys.
And me and my wife went in there as amateur paranormal investigators, and one of the things we were able to video, because you don't always see it with the human eye.
Right.
We checked out some mirrors because, from what we understood, that's could be a portal.
Right.
And we filmed orbs flying in and out of the mirror. And
it is a portal.
It was wild. We ended up taking the mirror out of the house. They still never know what happened.
I did some ghost hunting back in the day too.
Okay.
And I ain't into ghosts. I mean, they're dead. Let them be where they're at.
That's a very interesting take.
They want to come sit with me and talk. I'll talk with them, but don't come around and be flying around my house and shit because I'm, you know. But anyhow, we went down to a graveyard down McKeesport. There's a graveyard along the bike trail down there.
Okay.
I don't know what the name of the town is. And that's where the Boy Scouts camp down there.
Okay.
Anyhow, we're down there one night. We had a girl with us, an African-American girl. And she said, "We got to get the hell out of here." I said, "For what reason?" She said, "They don't like me." I said, "What?" She said, "They don't like me. They told me to leave." She said, "I'll walk by myself." I said, "No, we'll go with you."
These are ghosts?
Yeah.
Oh.
So we get halfway up. There was a waterfall, and that's where the town ended along the trail. So we would turn around, and it just rained like 15 minutes before this happened. We turned around and started snapping pictures with our cameras. Orbs all over the place.
Yeah.
We got to that waterfall and passed it, not one orb.
Huh.
I mean, they're there. What they are, I have no idea what they are.
Yeah, some people say, balls of energy. Some people say, some type of spirit, but no one really has a definitive answer, unfortunately.
Right.
Because...
Looks like you got the spook lights.
Yeah.
I mean, they're out there right now everywhere. You got them. Matter of fact, Brian and I are supposed to be writing a book on it right now.
Okay. That's Brian Seach, former and future guest.
He's moving, so he's got a lot to do with that right now. So.
Yeah, that's what he said. Now, Fred, what form is this right here?
This is the form that we use when we do a report. This doesn't have no names on it.
Okay.
It's from Alabama. So this has everything what we look at and how.
And the website, if you guys want to go and learn more at your own, it's MUFON.com. MUFON.com. You know, I just can't stress it enough because I know how many people talk to me about things they've witnessed. You're not going to be treated wrong. And when you investigate a UFO sighting, you told me you take it from a very scientific perspective.
Right.
Would you like to discuss that a little bit?
Well, it depends on what you're investigating.
Okay.
If you're investigating something, say, under a half a mile, we don't use none of that stuff there.
Okay.
We, you know,
What I have, guys, is a satellite paper. We'll get into that.
if we investigate something, say, maybe a mile up, which, see, this is the hard problem. How can you say it was a mile away?
That's
You
a good
know?
point.
How can you say what the speed was?
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the problems. I mean, but everybody, oh my God, it was 2 miles up and it was going 50,000 miles. How the hell you know
What
that?
point of reference?
Yeah, I mean, you know, but again, we have different places. Like right there, we got Solarium, we got Heavens Above, and a bunch of other stuff. We can actually go in and find out if there's any satellites flying over our area at the time.
I find that to be the most technologically fascinating thing about this. There's Skyview Cafe, satellite tracking, space station tracking, meteor monitor, Google Earth, current and historical weather data. New Fork? I'm not exactly sure what
Newfolk.
that is. What is that?
Okay, that's it's another UFO organization
Okay.
that they get UFO reports too, but he really doesn't investigate many of them. It's Peter Davenport.
Okay. There's also ISS tracking and Heavens Above.
Right.
If you guys are interested in any of these sites, reach out to us, reach out to Fred, reach out to MUFON. The information's out there. Now, do you get a lot of sightings that are physical, like body, so to speak?
No. The majority of sightings is lights in the sky.
Lights in the sky.
Yeah.
We have what you gave me was the monthly statistical MUFON report for July 2020, and this is great because it gives you the number of reported sightings. First off, in each country, the United States leads the way with 612, and the second most is Canada with 47. Do you believe there's a reason why it's either more seen or more reported in the United States?
I think people in the United States say more.
Okay.
A lot of people in the United States are talking more now. A lot of the other countries, like France, is very, very good at it. But people in the United States, they talk more.
It's still a taboo issue somewhat.
Well, it depends on where you're at.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I had a situation with a sheriff one time about something, and I got talked to the lieutenant later on, and he had 5 deputies, tell me about UFO reports. They didn't want them reported, but they had seen UFOs while they were on duty, and you know, if they could call me from now on anytime they seen anything weird like that, I said, yeah, you know,
Yeah.
they all got my number and everything.
Yeah, it's important to be able to protect people's anonymity if they don't want to go public. I can understand. And it also, you know, not only does it break down country, it breaks down states. California being the highest with 75, which I think is fascinating because it's the first place a UFO was reported, from what I understand. And they're still going strong. I'm not PA. It's got 31 though. That's not a bad number.
PA's up there. We're up there.
From what I hear, like I do a lot of research on the internet, it seems like 31, that's for the month. Okay, I was thinking for the year, because I constantly see articles about sightings and UFO lights and experiences like that.
Well, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania is heavy, but Pittsburgh and Philly
Okay.
are where most of the sightings are. I'll tell you another interesting sighting, which is really cool. The mall. We were just talking about it out here. The mall down the road.
Century 3 Mall. Okay.
A lady was in a wheelchair. Okay, her and her husband came down from Fayette County to see a movie down here, and she went into Penny's in her wheelchair, and she says that this lady yelled at her kid, and she turned to look, and it was a gray standing there with a sport coat on and a hat.
That blows my mind.
Okay, now check it out. So she said that she looked at it, and She says, it wasn't gray. And she says, it had a sport coat on. And she said she turned and looked at the lady, and when she turned back, the gray was gone.
Sport coat and all.
Yeah.
Sport coat and all. Wow.
So I interviewed her first, okay? And she was so, I mean, you know, she was really into it. I mean, I couldn't say she was crazy. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
I'm saying, well, you know. So I had somebody else interview her. Okay, so we have a psychologist in Pittsburgh that actually will do work for us like this.
Oh, that's fascinating.
So she went to see him, and he said that if he had to testify in court that she actually seen it. I mean, so this is a lot of the cases we get. I mean,
It's hard to convince someone something doesn't exist if they've seen it, or at least
Right.
they believe they've seen
Right.
it. And that's the most maddening thing, is when you've done something or seen something, and someone tries to diminish
Right.
your experiences.
but a lot of the problems we have too is you have people that do alleged investigations,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't tell nobody.
Mm.
Like if they get a UFO report, it's theirs, and
Okay.
they keep it.
So MUFON has a database where they
Yeah,
share.
we got a database,
Okay.
yeah, and most people don't, and most people won't share with you. They want you to share with them, but they won't share with you. So you know,
That's unfortunate. That is a shame. You know, I've never heard, because I've heard a lot of stories about Greys. I've never heard about one wearing anything other than like the silver jumpsuit type gear.
Right.
So the blazer and hat, that's kind of concerning, because if you believe in Greys, it almost feels like they could try to be assimilating.
Mhm.
You know, trying to fit in more.
well, with the sport coat on and a hat, they could be there, and nobody would even really pay attention. I
Yeah.
mean, they could just see the hat, and they wouldn't even look at it.
Especially with the world today.
Yeah, you know, it's like, you know.
Huh.
But you have, you know, I think it's like Bigfoot. We've possibly seen a Bigfoot with clothes on, too, one time. That was many
Never
years ago.
heard that. Please elaborate.
Okay, I used to work out at Westinghouse.
Okay.
When they had out in Monroeville, back in the woods back there.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I worked security there part-time. And me and the guy that was working with me, we're sitting there, and if you ever been back there, there's a road that comes up. It's like you can see for about a quarter of a mile.
Okay.
And we see this big thing coming up the road, and we're looking at it, and I said, damn. I said, who in the hell's that? And he said, I don't know. He said, they hired a bunch of new cleaning people. Maybe that's one of the cleaners. So we're watching it. So as we're watching it, a car's going down the road, and this thing's walking this way, and as soon as the car got to it, it turned around so it could see its back. It didn't see its front.
Okay.
And I said, that's odd, man. I'm watching it. So we get up there, and the smoking area was like about maybe 50 yards from the building. And the thing stopped there.
Okay.
We can't see the front. We just see the back. And so I had to go to the bathroom.
And it's wearing pants and a shirt?
Yeah.
Oh.
So I come back, and he says, Fred, he said, the damn thing's running, whatever it is. And we had it on camera. And it actually was a Bigfoot.
Oh.
And if you go up there and you jump over the hillside there, you're on a turnpike.
Huh.
This thing actually jumped over the hillside. When we looked at the camera, there was something there waiting for it. We could see something else there. And when we got out there was nothing there.
And the size of
Yeah.
a normal Bigfoot, 7 feet or so?
Yeah, and we had a you know, on camera. Well, he got scared and he took it off the camera because he didn't want to say nothing.
Okay.
But the boss found out about it, and I thought, oh man, here we go. We're gonna catch hell. You know, we're
Yeah.
playing with Bigfoot now. So he told me, he said, Fred, I want to see you in the office. Oh my God, here we go. He says, from now on, every shift, I want you out in them woods for 4 hours. If you can find any tracks or anything, let me know. So for like 2 months, man, that's all I did. I was out hunting Bigfoot up there. So, you know.
That's great.
But then I never heard of it either. Then I asked Stan Gordon about it, and he said that he's heard cases like that. So
That's another thing that's terrifying.
Yeah.
You know, like, Bigfoot's already awfully intelligent for just avoiding, you know,
Right.
evasion. But putting on clothes and the fact that he turned around so he wouldn't show his face,
Yeah.
that's alarming, you know, because I guess from what we understand, we can't seem to kill him. So what happens if Bigfoot decides, you know what, fuck it, I'm working at the plant now?
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Well, they're saying now that the government's involved with it, so I don't know. I mean, the government's involved with everything. I mean, you know, they got their fingers here and there and everywhere.
It would make sense, you know, if they came out and said, yeah, we were genetically engineering to make Bigfoot creatures and what. I was like,
Well,
okay.
that was before the government came along. I mean, they've been around quite a bit.
When was the general time of the first site? Well, you know what? I can't even ask that because
300-400 years ago. Because the Indians,
Yeah.
Native Americans, man, they got pictures of them, and they talk about when they used to come and steal the fish and take their women,
yeah,
and and stuff like that. So they've been around for quite some time.
you're absolutely right, and I should have known that. Bigfoot predates modern technology by quite a bit.
And now you got Dogman. That's another.
Brian mentioned Dogman. He said he was similar to a werewolf, but can you explain what Dogman actually would be?
Okay, if you look at Bigfoot and you look at the Dogman, okay, it's a Bigfoot with a dog head. You got a snout and everything.
Okay.
Bigfoot, if you see a Bigfoot, 9 out of 10 times, Bigfoot will take off running. He don't want nothing to do with it.
Yeah, wants no parts.
The Dogman will say, here you go. This is my property, man. He'll start growling at you. We had a case, it was on all the stations like you do.
Just as large as Bigfoot?
Yeah.
Oh.
And this was down in New Cumberland where I live.
Okay.
And the guy was he worked security for the wells, the gas wells. And he was a big shot from Texas.
Okay.
And he was coming home one night, and he went around a curve, and he says he come around a curve, and there was a dog man standing out in the middle of the road, just staring at him. And he says, water was coming out of every orifice at that time. And he says he's standing there looking at it, and the thing was growling, He said, but every time when he looked at it, it was looking to the right like something was there. And this is with a lot of these things. They always look to the right, like there's something watching them.
Huh.
So he says he didn't know what to do. He said the thing looked like it was going to start coming towards him. And he went to start the motor back up, and he hit the horn. When he hit the horn, the thing made some kind of squealing noise and just took off running. Like the noise actually scared it.
It's bad enough that if I walk around the corner and I see like a pit bull growling, I'm going to be scared.
Yeah.
But if I walk around the corner and see a dog man growling, I'm going to probably start crying.
Well, I always say if I see a Bigfoot, I'm going to run up to and hug it. If I see a dog man, I'm going the other way.
Yeah, Bigfoot, for as large and as capable, doesn't ever come off as an entity that's like meaning malice towards people.
Well, again, you got there's people out there now. I can't mention names, but they say that Bigfoot's killing people now, and I really, I don't know that.
Yeah.
And they was giving a presentation one night, and I was sitting there.
Okay.
And they all look at me all the time because they expect me to say something, and I just sit there, I don't say nothing. I just look at them and shake my head.
Okay.
And they said that one of the big-time Bigfoot researchers is actually working with the FBI, and I never heard it. I mean, but again, I can't say yes or no.
Yeah, that's a new one for me. I haven't heard of like Bigfoot as a serial killer type thing. Huh. That's interesting. Now, how long has this Dogman been around?
Well, again, Brian and I was researching Dogman 10, 15 years ago.
Oh, really?
Me, him, the lady out in Wisconsin, and Jody Cook. I don't know if you ever heard of Jody Cook.
I haven't. I'm unfamiliar with Jody Cook.
We was the only ones. Then all of a sudden, Dogman came out. And, oh, my God, everybody's experts. You never seen so many experts in your life. I mean, they could tell you how many times you go to the bathroom a day.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's funny. Now, you just mentioned something I found interesting that I want to pick up on. You said they a lot of them seem like they're looking to the side, looking at someone else. To me, I perceive that as almost like their bosses watching them. Yeah. And since we've discussed a lot of times maybe sightings of Bigfoot or UFOs heralding each other,
right?
Could they potentially be? That's the ship I'm on.
Yeah.
Could these be aliens themselves?
Yeah. See, okay. This is another thing now. Okay, what are aliens? Okay. How long have UFOs been around? Okay, since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
Okay. My thing is Adam and Eve.
Okay.
Okay. Adam and Eve, Eve, a woman, she got to not listen to what they tell her. Late all the time.
Okay.
But anyhow, ate the apple. Okay. Now, and the snake gave her the apple. Okay. But was it really a snake? When God came down, he says, from now on you shall slither on your stomach. Okay. So maybe it was a reptilian at the time, and he turned into a snake. That's why they call them reptiles. Okay.
Oh boy, I'm getting excited now. Reptilians, for those of you who don't know, are another species
Right.
of alien, and I've heard a lot of negative things about the
I'll tell you a
reptilians.
little story, too. But I got stories for all this stuff.
I love it.
Okay, so say it was reptilians back then. Okay, so they'd been around. Who built the buildings? I mean, before Christ and everything, we didn't build them.
Okay, I
there's no
see what
way
you're
we
going.
could build them. Okay, I believe right now in the government, it's like right now with disclosure. This is the big thing. Oh my God, they're going to disclose. They're going to disclose shit.
Yeah, everything's redacted.
Yeah, because number one, we allegedly made a deal with them. Eisenhower.
Yes.
Okay.
I've mentioned this to people before. They think I'm crazy.
No, Eisenhower allegedly made a deal with him. It was Edwards Air Force Base in '54 or something like that.
People, I'm not nuts.
And they could go out and abduct a few people now and then, but they broke the law. They abduct anybody they want to.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But again, I believe that they actually have aliens working in the government. They're shapeshifters.
I've heard a lot of this. I've heard there's a government base that has like 9 different alien races with humans.
It's out in New Mexico.
New Mexico. Oh, this is great because like all the stuff that I don't have anybody that knows what I'm talking about. Every time I mention something, Fred's like, I got stories about that.
Okay,
I love it.
So then I'll tell you another story too. All right. But anyhow, I did some cases for Ohio, okay, to cross the border. So they get a case where the guy says he's a hybrid.
Okay.
He's a reptilian hybrid. So I'm talking to him and this and that, and you're full of shit. So I said, I got to talk to you in person. I got to see you. So I said, where you live at? He says, Columbus. Okay. I said, okay, I'm here. So halfway would be Salt Fork. I'll meet you at Salt Fork. He said, okay. So he called me back up 2 hours later. He says, I can't do it.
Oh.
I said, why can't you do it, man? He said, the reptilians found out. Somebody from your organization. And I mean, I hate to say this, but it's very possible. I mean, because the government, I'll tell you another story about that too, but anyhow. They said if I go see you, they're going to kill me.
Oh.
I said, well, okay. He says, and you better watch yourself too. I said, you tell them whatever they are with them little tails that go back and forth. I ain't scared of them.
Yeah.
Come on down. He said, no, he said, they'll kill you. And he hung up on me, so I never talked to him again. But people said they have seen them.
Can you give a general description of reptilians?
They're
size, height, that type of thing.
Say about anywhere between 6 to 8 feet.
Okay.
They have scaly skin, most of them.
Okay.
Some are gray, some are green. We had a case you'll have this in here. Okay. We got some good cases, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all been fascinating.
I get the weird things, I love the weird ones. Had a case in Florida, because I did a lot of investigations in the Panhandle down there. And the case was this girl seen a reptilian.
Okay.
So I go to the house, I knock on her apartment, knock on her door. This girl comes to the door, man, she's beautiful. I said, holy shit, she's seen a reptilian. What the hell's going on here? So I said, well, okay. So I'm taking it for him. I said, well, tell me what happened. She said, I was in a bar. And she said, broke up with my boyfriend. And she said, I was kind of horny. And I'm looking at her like, really? And she says, so I go to the bar and I run into this guy. And she says, cutest thing I've ever seen. And she said, we start talking, and I said, okay, I'll take him home. So they went to her apartment. They messed around a little bit. They started having sex. She said, it was the worst I've ever had, Fred. And I'm saying, well, why are you telling me the story? She said, wait a minute, I ain't done yet.
Yeah.
She said, I had my hand on his back, and I started feeling something. And I looked, and she says he had scales on him. And she said it was a damn reptilian I was having sex with. She said she was the best I've ever had. She said, I go to every bar now looking for this guy.
Huh.
So, again, is it true or is it not true?
Yeah,
But she seemed like she was real.
Now, the reptilians, their temperament, as far as against humans, like you just told a pleasant story.
They don't like humans.
Yeah, I heard they were aggressive.
Right.
Do they eat us, or am I confused on that?
Okay, let's get into another situation here.
Okay.
Okay. Wow. Okay. You heard right now they're talking about all these kids that are being kidnapped.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And they're taking the endochrome, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Endochrome. You know what that is?
I've heard it.
Okay. Now, and they eat them.
Huh.
Okay. The Aztecs and the Incas back in the day, so they were cannibals.
Mm-hmm.
They learned that from the gods. Who were the gods? The ancient aliens.
Okay.
The guy, I forget his name, from he was out at Dose, whatever it is.
Paul Schneider.
Snyder.
Okay.
Okay, he ended up committing suicide. He said in the 70s that the aliens would take these kids and take the endochrome out of them and drink it.
Wow.
And that's what these people are doing today. They're doing the same thing. So again, you have so many kids missing every year.
Yeah.
So what are they doing? People say that they're actually eating them. I can't say they are, and I can't say they're not, because I've never seen it. But I mean, it's said that they're doing that.
No, that would make sense from what I've heard about reptilians. That, I don't know. It's kind of better than like the pedophile rings they talk about.
Well,
I would prefer the kids to be eaten than, you know.
but again, they say the pedophiles are eating them too, so I don't know. I mean,
Jesus, it just doesn't stop.
But if you look at it, is it possible, like the Queen?
Okay.
Okay. Oh my God, I'm really getting into this now. The Queen is supposed to be a reptilian.
Oh, the
Okay.
Queen Elizabeth.
Queen Elizabeth.
Okay.
Her eyes will actually change. A lot of times people say, when the first baby was born, they sent her an alligator. Why would you send somebody an alligator?
Yeah, that's not.
that's
that's not a baby present.
Yeah, but again, you know, and why is everybody clamming up about the stuff that's going on with the kids?
Yeah.
I mean, nobody wants to talk about it. So
Yeah, they just rescued, I think, 39 kids
Yeah.
in one state and like 24 in
yeah.
another, and it's like barely news.
Yeah. But again, is it possible that some of these people are actually reptilians?
Well,
That,
from
you
the
know,
people I've spoken
Look
to,
at Hillary Clinton. She could be one without doubt. I mean,
I knew that was
Shapeshifter.
I knew that was where that was going, but that's what I've heard from a lot of people that say reptilians have infiltrated the government,
Right.
and a lot of the higher ups and people in power are actually
Right.
reptilians in disguise.
it's like, you ever watch X-Files?
I've seen a couple episodes.
Okay, did you see the one where Mulder was talking to, what's his name? The one guy that told him all this.
I didn't.
Smoking
I
Man?
did.
Huh?
Smoking Man?
No, the federal guy. And he said, Mulder says, are they here? And he says, Mr. Mulder, they've been here for quite some time. And I believe that. I mean, I believe, like you talk
yeah.
about the Needlums or whatever they are.
Yes.
Locke and them. I mean, you know, it's very possible that there was an atomic bomb that fell.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, and the reptilians are everywhere. I mean, I believe they're everywhere. They're looking, you know, who knows? Might be out on the street right now looking at us. They're saying, you know, oh, God, Saluga's talking shit on us again.
I wish my mother would have picked a better father.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, he was just the wrong type of snake.
yeah.
So,
Meanwhile,
yeah. Meanwhile, now, what other kind of popular species of aliens is there out there a lot of times?
okay, you got the Nordics.
Okay.
They
I've
look
also
like
heard
us.
them as being called tall whites.
Yeah, well, they look like us.
Okay.
Okay. You ever hear of Travis Walton?
Yes.
Okay, Travis, when he was abducted, he was on the slab, so to speak, and it was all grays around him. When he broke out, he was running through the ship, and he ran into the Nordics, and they actually helped him get out of there.
Okay.
The Nordics walk around here now. We wouldn't even know them. They're tall, and, you know, a lot of people say they see them.
Okay. So they could probably blend in somewhere like the
Like
Swiss,
us, yeah.
Iceland, places like that. Okay.
And then you have the one, what the hell they call it again? The animal, it's tobacco comes out of its mouth.
Insect.
Yeah,
Insectoids.
insecticide.
Okay. And
What was it? What is it?
Insectoids.
Yeah, what is it? Like a, oh hell, what would you call it?
a grasshopper.
No, it's like a grasshopper.
Okay.
It's big.
Okay.
Okay. And that's what actually runs the show now. That's a top dog.
Now, when you say the big, how big are we talking?
7-8 feet.
Oh, wow. That's a big grasshopper. Oh, and the insectoids.
Praying mantis, yeah.
Okay. The insectoids are the ones they say are pulling the strings now?
Yeah.
Huh. That's interesting. You know, I also find it fascinating that all this stuff is potentially able to happen with such secrecy. Because they're working with some humans, I would assume.
Right.
And humans don't know how to keep their mouth shut.
Okay. You know, this is one of the things. Like, do you remember when they had the syphilis program?
I don't.
Okay. You ever heard of that? Okay. They had the syphilis program where they had all the African Americans. They had syphilis. And
Oh, where they injected them with syphilis.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
Tuskegee Airmen or what have
No,
you.
not. It was the Tuskegee report, but it wasn't the Airmen.
Okay.
Okay. And that went on for 20 years and nobody knew about it.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, they can do things without nobody knowing. I mean, the government is capable of doing anything.
Yeah, that's very true. Now, when you come across someone who's been abducted, do they have any physical ailments that come with that?
Some do. It's not COVID-19 or whatever the hell it is, it's COPD. A lot of them they start having dreams. They have marks on them. Implants.
Okay.
All kind of different things. I mean, you can't
pinpoint one specific thing.
It's a total bunch of them.
Now, there is, I think it's like regression hypnosis
Right.
that people go under. How effective is that in remembering?
It depends on who's doing it.
Okay, so it depends on the expert.
Yeah, I mean, expert. I mean, a lot of people. You ever hear of false memory syndrome?
Yes, like
I
the
can
Mandela effect.
I can actually put it in your mind if you was abducted if I want to.
Okay.
They say that it's better if you don't, and people can remember it. That's much better because if you say you was hypnotized, then
It doesn't hold up.
Yeah.
Okay. So you handed me a paper called the National UFO Reporting Center.
Yeah.
What is this about?
Okay, he does. He takes UFO reports too.
Okay.
But
Is
he don't
another
really-
organization.
Yeah, he don't really investigate most of them. He just puts them on his page.
Okay, so this is just, in all fairness, we give everybody a fair shake.
Yeah, if they want to look at it, I mean,
Yeah,
if you want to make a report, you either make it to us or them. I mean, I'm not going to say make everything to MUFON because, I mean, this guy does it too. So.
Well, from what I understand, I've only heard about MUFON as far as when it comes to like investigations. I feel like they're the bigger fish, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, we get the majority of everything.
And you guys seem to be more efficient too. Like actually report stuff, handle it. Now this case management system, he handed me a paper with the last 20 sighting reports. And is this in the United States? Yes.
It's all over the world.
Okay, it's all over the world.
You go on to MUFON.com and go on to case management. There's a thing up there. You can get it. And it'll have the last 20 reports. And you click on that and you can see the last 20 reports came in. That's every day. They change.
And you know what? This is much more organized than I had anticipated. Like it has the date, like on 8/28 of 20 in Colorado Island, or apparently I'm an idiot. Coronado Island in California. There was a disc-like object with bright lights, evenly spaced around all edges. And like that's a very brief description.
Right.
But that's an intense thing to see.
Yeah, but like I say, they do 20 of them a day. I mean, it's they just keep on going.
And you can always go back and check the sightings reported on this website, the MUFON Case Management System.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. I like the fact that your organization is transparent. You know, like you're not hiding anything. You say, this is the cases we reported, is the investigations. That's great. And I don't know, just for people, if you don't mind, I'd like to go over a quick couple definition of terms for there's an unknown UAV. This is for reporting, which is an object in this category should appear to be some type of aerial vehicle. An orb or paranormal type object should not be in this category. And if a F1 puts a case in this category, there should be 90+% confidence that the object cited by a witness cannot be explained by a terrestrial object or astronomical object. I like that because I see a lot of stuff in the sky, but nothing more, though, than just some type of craft that I can't identify. Right. I like that. An unknown other, this category should be used for unknown object and doesn't appear to be any type of aerial vehicle. Examples would be orbs, odd moving lights near the ground, strange floating objects, a strange opening in the sky. Have you ever taken a report from someone who's seen like a strange opening in the sky or an interdimensional rift or anything like that?
We just had it wasn't a UFO case, but it was a Bigfoot case.
Okay.
Or whatever. Orb case, as a matter of fact. Two guys was out in, you know where Quebec Hall is?
I do not.
It's a state park up in the mountains.
Okay.
And they were standing there and they seen an orb coming. It's like a portal, is what that's saying. It's like an orb. There was an orb coming. And what happened, it wasn't there. Then it came back again and actually something opened up. Like a doorway opened up and the orb went in it. It's the same with like a lot of UFOs. They say something will open up. And that's with the cryptids. That happens with cryptids all the time.
Are you familiar with Skinwalker Ranch? I'm sure you are.
Yeah.
I was listening to a podcast, and one of the things was describing was like an orb-shaped object.
Right.
But it, I think it shot a little laser and killed some. It's fascinating, though, that the way they described it was almost like a RC car for the ship, you know, like an exploratory mission.
Well, you know, when you talk about that, you had Bigelow out there.
Okay.
Okay, and Bigelow, everything he found out there is actually classified information.
Really?
You can't even find out. The government has it as classified.
I wish they weren't so fearful.
And they know what the hell's out there. Then they just had the new show they put on. Okay, they found something underground, and the show stopped.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so did something underground they find, is that not supposed to be known?
See,
that was the last episode.
That's why I don't watch shows like The Curse of Oak Island, because if they found it, the show wouldn't be a thing anymore.
Well, that's like finding Bigfoot.
Yeah.
You know, me and Brian was giving a presentation Bigfoot down at the park one day, and the guy said to me, he says, "Do you watch Finding Bigfoot?" Real serious, you know. And one of the BFR guys was standing there, and I said, "Hell no, I don't watch it."
Yeah.
He said, "Why don't you watch it?" I said, "Dude, if they find Bigfoot, that's the end of the show. So we know we're not going to find it."
Yeah, it's not like they're going to reveal it at the end.
Right.
It would, and I look at that because people are like, "Oh no, they might find it." It will be national news if they legitimately find it. I don't have to watch that show to find out.
But they keep people on a string. It's like I say right now with this disclosure. It's like, oh my God, Henry. The government, they need this information. Ethel, shut up. We don't want to tell them. You know? Oh, Henry, and that's what they're doing. People that seeing UFOs and that are telling the government, now, I mean, I've seen a UFO here and there. The government's sucking it up, man. They're getting everything they want. And then, oh, my God, you know, they do this every 10 or 15 years, man.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're going to have disclosure, and they never do.
I'm a young enough guy to not remember these types of patterns. I'm sure I'll be able to.
71, so.
You got a little bit of time on me. Yeah. We have an IFO. A natural phenomenon, IFO man-made, and IFO other. 70% or more of our cases will probably fall into this category. A sighting should be categorized as an IFO if the investigator believes that most likely explanation is a man-made object or a natural phenomenon.
Well, like, you ever see a cloud that looks like a UFO?
Yeah.
Okay, that's one there. At nighttime, a lot of times, you know when these places have the spotlights, they shine up in there, and people call in UFOs there. And you know, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of things that I should have brought you that sheet too. If I see it again, I'll bring it down.
I've never personally seen a UFO. I've seen. I'll categorize this. I've never personally seen something I thought was an alien. I look into the night sky just like everybody else, wishing, honestly, just wishing something would appear, something that I could be like, oh man, that's not a plane. Right. You know, but I haven't had any luck since yet.
Well, there's always one time.
Yeah, that's all. Well, that's the thing too. That's all it takes is one time.
So I was going to tell you. What was I talking? I was going to tell you about. We had triangle craft. This was interesting too.
Okay.
what the hell? I can't remember the name of the place now.
Triangle craft. That's like a flying saucer, but just triangle shaped.
Big triangular craft.
Okay.
There's a bunch of them being seen now. This is a place down by the river down there. They do Navy stuff.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
In Annapolis?
No, here in Pittsburgh.
Oh.
Down in West Mifflin.
Oh, I have no idea.
There's a big place down there.
Okay.
Anyhow, the ships were coming up like at 8 o'clock on certain nights, and then they vanished when they got there.
Huh.
We believed they was landing down in there. So
Now, that almost like, have you ever heard? Do you think like ghost ships and things like that? Do you think any of these Bigfoot or cryptids? And I actually want to talk a little bit more about those. Could be like the residual.
people say that.
Okay.
They had the case out in California where the lady was walking her dog. Okay, and Nick Redfern, you've heard of him,
yes.
I'm sure. Okay, and she told the story to Nick. And she says it was a the thing with the teeth,
Saber-toothed tiger.
saber-toothed tiger.
Oh,
And she looked at it, and it looked at her, and she said, "Oh shit, this is it." And she looked, and there was no pause. And then she watched it; it just started to disintegrate.
huh.
And a lot of people say when they're out in the woods, they see this. They've actually seen stuff like that that's disintegrated.
See that's fascinating, but it's terrifying because something put it there.
Yeah.
And I never know. Maybe I'll disintegrate next in that type of situation.
But the thing is, was it a ghost from the past? Is a lot of this stuff we're seeing actually ghosts from the past?
Yeah.
I mean, like you'll see somebody walking in the woods.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that really a person or is that a spirit? I mean, you don't really know what you're seeing half the time.
I'll be honest with you, Fred. I like the woods. I do. Since I've started doing this show, I have ventured less and less into the woods just because it sounds like everything is out there that's going to kill me and I can't see any of it.
Well, you will.
That's the problem, though. When I see it, it's going to be too late.
Only thing scares me out there is damn rattlesnakes and copperheads.
Fair enough.
And I mean, that's, we killed a rattlesnake down in West Virginia. Its head was big as my fist.
Whew.
And it was from me to you.
Yeah.
Away. And it couldn't get us because the rattlesnake can't jump through the grass. It's got to have a clear shot.
Oh, okay.
And boom, boom, boom. I mean,
That's intense.
Yeah.
That's a big head. We also have insufficient data, and this is all in relation to
that's your cryptid cases.
to cryptids. If the witness does not respond after 3 attempts, when you have used at least 2 different modes of communication to reach them, phone, email, such and such, and the description is too vague to draw a conclusion, insufficient data must be used, which makes perfect logical sense.
Because we get reports of men in black. That's another thing. What are the men in black? Are they really for real? Are they aliens, or what are they?
Well, Men in Black, I've heard multiple things. I've heard one that they're a government agency, which, from the movie, we all heard that. But I've also heard that they are aliens out, like, looking out for their own benefit, so to speak.
Well, the most of them, they're dark complected, they're all colored, and they look like they're Chinese or something.
Yeah, from the descriptions, they're human enough, but there's something off that it's like, that's not a normal human.
And they don't know a lot of stuff. Like they had the one down at Point Pleasant.
Yes.
Okay, you're familiar with the Mothman.
Yes.
Okay, when Kill was down there, she gave him a pen. Mary hired a day with the newspaper, and he clicked it. And he looked at it, clicked it again, like, what the? He just started, he was all happy. Then he went to eat. He didn't know what to eat with.
Yeah.
I mean, so again, what are they?
I've heard a report about it asking for a glass of water but not knowing how to drink it properly.
Yeah. Where they say, what do you want to eat? And they'll say, can we help you? I want to eat. What do you want to eat?
Yeah. They don't know the proper food.
They have no idea. And then they'll look at it like, what do you do with it? And they just pick it up. Like.
I've also heard they move relatively fast. Like.
Depends.
Okay.
And you get 3 of them. Well, I had another situation where, I can't say where at, but a cop situation where a guy with the police department used to read UFO books all the time.
Okay.
And I used to make fun of him. That's before I got involved in it. I said, Jesus Christ, every time you see you reading a UFO book, you crazy or what? And he was taking psychology in college at the time. And one day he came in, didn't have no more UFO books. So I'm looking at him, well, there's a problem here. Why don't you go through UFO books, man? He goes, I ain't going to talk about it. I said, what? Well, allegedly, he's seen a UFO landing. And he said by the time he got home, there was 3 guys in a black Cadillac at his door, told him if he ever says anything about it, him and his whole family will be missing.
You know,
Now
Dan,
the guy's a PhD. He's a doctor.
Okay.
Of psychology. He teaches. And he'll look at me and say, never say my name.
fair enough.
So.
Fair enough. I heard that Dan Aykroyd said he had a television program that was shut down and he was being watched by these men in black, which is fascinating. And real quick, you said the guy started reading books. I always want to say that's how the late, great Stanton Friedman got his start, just being fascinated.
Stanton, I'll tell you what, again, when you get into the world of Bigfoot, you get into the world of UFOs, they're supposed to be experts.
Mm-hmm.
Stanton, I would consider him an expert.
Yeah.
There is no other experts. I mean, you got these, I've been in this field for you don't know shit.
My first episode we did here was on Roswell.
Yeah.
And I did a lot of the research. And honestly, the more I read about Stanton Friedman, the more I liked him.
Yeah.
He seemed like he was a straight shooter, and he was honest about what he believed. It was nice.
That's what you got to be, and most people in this field ain't, man. Most people in this field are media whores.
Okay.
Oh my God, they got to be on a radio, they got to be on here, they got to be here, they got to do this. Like, this is the first time I've done one of these, I think, in 2 years.
Oh, really?
I don't really do these things.
Okay.
I mean,
well, I hope you've had a good experience so far.
Yeah, I'll come back again if you want.
I would love to have you back. We'll talk about that off the air. But before we wrap it up here,
let me say one thing.
Okay.
If anybody sees a Bigfoot or a UFO, okay, if you see a UFO, either go to MUFON.com or you can call me at 304-564-7165 or paranormal, PARANORMAL 1949 at AOL.com, and I will get back to you within 24 hours.
That's actually what I was getting ready to ask you next. Where can the people find you? Is there any websites you'd like to plug?
Okay. We have West Virginia MUFON.
Okay.
Okay, then we got Fayette County, Pennsylvania, spelled out, Bigfoot Research Project, and also UFOs and Bigfoot.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, thank you so much for coming on, Fred.
Well, thank you for having me.
It was an absolute pleasure. I'm sure we'll see more of you in the future.
Right.
This has been great. I'm sorry, guys, that it's been so sporadic. Fred just has so much knowledge and information, it's hard to keep track on one specific thing. I also want to say tune in next week when we have, I believe it's a paranormal investigator, Tom Barker. I believe his investigation team is TAPS. If I misspoke, please forgive me. Also, check us out at inquisitiveminds.com. That's INQUIZATIVE minds.com. Shirts for sale. Got some stuff going on. I'll see you next week, guys. Thank you, Fred.
You're welcome. Thank you.